question. Probably summer, because I don't like cold weather too much, but there are things that I like about the winter, especially in terms of being a great time to work. And I find maybe more inspiration in the winter than in the summer. But overall, I think the summer is more enjoyable. Days are longer and it's not as cold as in the winter. Well, I live by the beach, so I definitely love being by the sea. But because I live by the beach and I spend most of my life in cities that are on the coast, I do have a big appreciation for the mountains because it's rare for me to be in the mountains. So I really enjoy also being in the mountains. But for living, I like living by the sea. Better algorithms and better data. Well, I am really not a believer in AGI or all. So I think it's almost an insult to human intelligence to call anything computational. AGI, we don't even fully comprehend our own intelligence. We are extremely complex beings. So I am really not very happy with the whole AGI conversation in the public sphere. And I also think that maybe it is a decision that we should collectively make as a society, whether it is in our interest and whether this is something that we want to achieve, attempting to create some non-biological, intelligence with the same level of complexity and competence that human intelligence has. Maybe there are other ways or better ways to invest our resources and our efforts than trying to achieve that. I don't know, maybe this is something that, as a society, we should decide whether we want to go in that direction or some other direction. But I think we are very far from having something that is intelligent at the level of human beings. Depends on the application, but I would say for most meaningful applications from a societal perspective, it's a must-have. But I think the key question is, what do we mean by interpretability? One of the biggest caveats or still open questions from a technical perspective in the interpretable AI or explainable AI literature is that in many cases, the algorithms that are designed are not properly evaluated with human beings, even though the main purpose of interpretable algorithms is to explain them, to human beings. So I'm a big advocate for human-centric approaches in general to AI and in particular to interpretable and explainable AI. No, please. I hope not. I don't think AI is like the only science on earth that everyone should do. I do think that there is a lot of tools in AI that are helpful and very useful across a variety of disciplines, because artificial intelligence is a transversal discipline. It's sort of like a general purpose discipline that you can apply to almost any domain, because at the end of the day, we are building models that are learning from data, and depending on what that data is from, it could be financial data, health data, weather data, or human behavioral data. The models, are trying to find patterns in that data and understand, the underlying phenomenon. Definitely more diverse benchmarks and definitely, I would say, more efficient, smaller models, smarter models. Well, I think people can do whatever they want. I think what they should be is transparent in, what tools they have used for writing. And evidently, I wouldn't believe any of the supposed alleged citations that an LLM might produce because, with high likelihood, a significant portion of them probably don't exist. So, I don't really trust the content that is generated by generative tools today. And I don't think anyone should trust them. They haven't been trained with any kind of veracity function and there is no real guarantee that whatever they produce is factually accurate. I think this is very important to keep in mind. Well, so they are over-applied, but with questionable economic benefit, probably. I don't think it's a matter of application. I think it's a matter of maybe useful application or economically relevant application. I think there is obviously hype because there are economic incentives to hype them. There are a lot of companies that are investing extremely on them. So there is an economic interest or even geopolitical interest in trying to bring as much attention as possible to them. But still, there is, I think, a lot of hype, and there is probably a certain level of disappointment in realizing that whatever high expectations we had from large language models are probably not going to be met, because they're definitely not as intelligent as many people believe they are.